My name's Suzanne from Non-Stop Paper Crafts. Welcome back to my craft room. Okay, so we're back for the next instalment of this lap book build. So far we have got the base done and used some of the gorgeous papers from the Old School Detective Kit from Victoria Designs to decorate the outside. We've still got to put our notepad here, but we'll probably do that in a different session. I showed you last time that I had added these pieces on the outside of this cover, and then in the last video we had built this section with the accordion fold using an old file folder. So today's video is about decorating a little bit and putting in all the tucks and pockets and things like that. Now I have prepped a few things purely because I don't have a great deal of time to craft at the moment. I just get snippets of time here and there. So I have prepped a lot of things, but nothing stuck down or anything, and I can obviously talk through anything that I have done. So on this front first panel, what I'm going to do here is, this was in the kit joined like this, and I think it was supposed to look like a notepad, so somebody's done a sketch possibly of a suspect, and then there are some notes here, but this was in the kit joined this way. I've just split them and swapped them round, and then what I'm going to do is they'll be glued down at the base, and then I'm going to use some string to kind of do a sort of crisscross here, and that will act a bit like a belly band, and that's going to go on there. Then when we open this up this way, I've got 3 pockets here. Now if you remember me last time, I did say that yeah, having faces and things I find a little bit scary and freaky. However, like I say, it wouldn't be much of a murder mystery detective file if I didn't have people involved. So I'm trying not to cover up too much of the creepiness. So I decided to make some pockets. So they start off quite small and it gets bigger as we go up, or deeper as we go up. Only because I've got a lot of space that I can play with here. I mean, I know I'm kind of covering up this face, which is probably the only smiling-ish faces here, but I thought at least we can still see up the top here. If I have this one here, we can still see these faces. And then with this one down the bottom, quite funnily actually, where I've got the notch here, we've now almost framed the bottom of this very scary looking face down here. So they're going to be my 3 pockets going there. And then on the next part that folds out, this is going to be a double page. Let's move that over slightly. And what I've been doing is I've got some tea stained paper, and then I have, these are little library card pockets, and they came with library cards to go with them. Also from Victoria Designs. They were a freebie though, but I thought that these would make handy little pockets in here, and I've used the library cards. I've covered up the bit where it says like the book and the author and all that kind of stuff, and the date that you're signing them out, and instead I've put their fingerprints on there, so this is almost like an info card that goes into the pocket. And then for each person, I was very excited about this. I actually typed up on my typewriter some notes about each of the people, how they died, when they died, and just some notes on the killing as well. So yeah, I had lots of fun on my typewriter typing those up. And what I am going to do is hinge, because obviously I want there to be some writing space. I want somebody to be able to use this lap book. Obviously you've got the hopefully interesting story of the murders that have been going on and trying to solve the crime, but I also want it to be usable. So this is going to be hinged on here, so this is almost like a cover, and then it's going to open up and then you've got writing space here. That's my plan. And then I'm going to have 2 on each page, so I'll have for example a couple here and then the same kind of on the other side. So that's my plan for this double page. And then I've possibly just messed it all up by tipping that way. Let's move the pockets, put it out this way. So what I plan to do here is, this is a page that again I think was a freebie. It wasn't actually part of the detective kit, but it was a freebie I think from Victoria Designs, or part of another kit. I'll have to check that one, but I loved all the keys on there. So I literally just made an envelope out of it using my envelope punch board. And then in the kit are these 2 key cards. Now I don't know if you can see that very well on the camera. Possibly not. I have slightly inked around the edge, but in the middle it's quite bright. The whole card was a quite bright colour, so I wanted to dull it down a little bit. So I've done them a little darker, so I've inked them up. And what I'm going to do is put these at the end of this point, because you'll see it comes out a little bit. So I'll have it double-sided. I'll wedge a magnet in between there, and then when I put the pockets on, these pockets on the other side where the faces are, I'll put a magnet there. So the idea is that will then hold everything closed, hopefully. So that's going to go there. I then have this, which was a bit that was cut off of the faces panel when I was doing the people. I was going to put that in this top corner as a kind of side tuck, so that's going to go up there. And then on this side, I really love this top secret page, so I'm going to make this a pocket where the top kind of bends down a little bit. I have inked the back, so that's going to be glued down on those 3 edges, so it's a pocket. And then I've got this, which obviously has a little hole in it. I was going to kind of layer that there, but again this will be a pocket. I loved this fountain pen, so I thought I'd have the postcard up here as again another side pocket, and then I can have maybe the fountain pen kind of laying across, but it'll be glued down so it doesn't obviously interfere with whatever gets tucked into this pocket. So that's what I've prepared, that's what I'm getting ready. So that's what I'm going to work on now. I was debating whether sewing around these, but I'm not sure I'm going to do that. No. So as I've got this page open, I think I'm going to work on here first. So as I say, these bits are nice and easy, it's just about gluing them down. So let's get started on that. Okay, so all I've done here is I've just put a magnet behind on the other side. I've just covered it with a bit of washi tape, so at least when my pocket goes over the top, hopefully whatever you put in there then obviously won't catch. It may knock a little bit on it, but at least it's then covered a little bit, and that's obviously going to go there. But it just holds then this side in place, holds it closed, and obviously I can open this up. It can be written in should the person wish, or it could have stuff put inside. Entirely up to whoever uses it, but yeah, that all goes together and then that just stays closed there. Right, so that's these pages done. I'm still undecided with what I want to do here, so I'm just going to leave that for now. Oh, actually, this is the one where we're going to have this, isn't it? And this is the bit I'm undecided for. So let's do this part then. So as I said, I'm going to glue these, and then I want some string to go through these loops. Let's kind of see. Let's go up through there, across, down, possibly across as well. Okay, so I'm just going to give myself a little bit extra. Right, so I'm just going to loosely put all the string in. So I'm just trying to think. So I'm going to want it to tie at the back. So, oops. Let's go over this side, the back of this one, at the front. Here. It looks something like that, but obviously then tied. Right, so I'm going to glue these down and then I can tighten the strings a little bit. So I'm just gluing the top part. So I'm going to do about a third of the way down. And then at the bottom again, do it to about a third of the way down. Right, before I tie anything off, I'm going to let that dry. So now for these pockets, so I'm having this one right down at the bottom. Whoops. Then it will be this one. And then this one was about here. So these could be for smaller pieces of ephemera, that's why it's a shallower pocket, and obviously not so far of a distance between the next one. This one for slightly larger, and then this one obviously for taller things. So while you haven't got a great deal of space here, it obviously is a deeper pocket. So we'll start with the bottom one. Oops. Next one. Okay, and then the top one. Okay, so they're my 3 pockets. Again, I'm not going to try sliding things in them just yet until they have fully dried. They're my 3 pockets. Okay, so the next part then is this double page. Okay, so I will have them in the order that they were killed. So this is my Daphne. She's going to be first, and then this one was last. He was next. Okay, so quite like the castle in the back. Like I'll that one out. Oh, covering up my men. Kind of getting covered up that way as well, aren't they? Okay, yeah, back to that way then. Back to this way. Okay, so we've got those, and then who have we got? So I've got Thomas and Frank, and these are twins because I thought those photos, they looked quite similar, so I've made them twins, and one of them was killed first, and I can't remember which one I decided was going to be killed first. I think it's, yep, so I put in there the different crime scenes. So this is the drawing room, so he was found in the drawing room, so he's the one that was killed next. So he must be Frank. Go up there, and then this must be Thomas, who was trying to find out who the killer was, possibly killed because he was getting a bit too close. So these pockets I'm just going to stick straight down. Again, whoever uses this can add their own bits in here, their own tags and things, and then on the backs of these I've trimmed these down so that they can all be hinged open and written on. So that's the bit I am going to do next. Okay, so that's those all done. So they've each got their pockets, as I say, and then this flips out, all of them. So there's a bit of writing space underneath each one, and then, as I say, some room in the pockets. Could do some journaling here, some journaling on the back, some journaling on the back of each of the locations as well. So lots of space still to journal. And with Thomas's one, we've got this location page, so again, lots of journaling space there as well. Okay, so that's that page done. We've got the pockets here. And like I said, I'm still not sure what I want to put here yet. We've got that, which we'll tie in a moment. We've got 2 pockets, 3 pockets, another pocket there, and the envelope that is shut with a magnet. So let's try and tie this off. Do you want this tight? So I've just tied a knot down in behind there, so I'm just going to now trim off these bits. Okay, and then that's a nice sort of tuck spot underneath there. Okay, so that is one side done. So these, as I say, will be all the victim pieces. With all of our victims there, all of their information. This could be filled with all different bits of ephemera. I've already started sort of cutting bits out and getting things all creased up. So all of these types of things could be the kind of things that get stuck into these pockets later on. So, like I said, lots and lots of things, more fingerprints and letters. Lots and lots of different bits, so I will fill all that up, I think, towards the end when we know how bulky it is and how much room we've got. So just having a little look at the moment, so I do have still some space. This is still quite flexible. I could potentially have another kind of fold out on this side. So this was all to do with the victims on here, if you remember. So this side is going to be all about the suspects, and in the notes here, when we read Thomas's, we've said that there were 2 people that have been overlooked. So those 2 people are the people that will be investigated here, but that will have to be for another video. What we can do today, though, is start working on the notebook that's going to go on this side. Okay, so I have just grabbed some paper. So I've got some leftover tea-stained papers. This, I know you can't really see it on camera very well, but does have a light staining to it. I've got some packaging tissue paper stuff that I might use. I've got some more tea-stained papers. I've got some lined tea-stained papers, a couple of them, and some graph paper, which I'm going to use. So I'm going to build up a little notepad that we can pop here. So I'm just going to have a little look at size first. This? Maybe finishing up that line there. Okay, so that's the largest I want to go. So let's do another one of those. And from the other side, I'll do like again. This one's it. Okay, and that gives us a toe hole. Just make 2 pictures out. And over there. Okay, one, and that's good as well. Yeah. Those. Okay. This. I've got these which I can also pop in as well. Okay, so this is my notepad. So I'm just going to arrange it a little bit better so that we've got a good mix. So originally I was going to bind this onto this backing, and I wanted to keep this backing because I really like it. However, I want to make this notepad interchangeable, so I want to be able to remove these papers, put new papers in, or a new pad. So I am going to cover this, and I'm going to use a piece of this paper, but it will be double-sided, so obviously we'll have a nice cover here, but I want it to fold over so it comes over the top of this, and then we can bind these in, but then it means that I can tie it in with string and then remove these when I want to replace them. So I have done something similar when I was doing my office journal. I made a removable notepad, so I'm going to be doing the same thing for this one. Okay, so what I am thinking, so originally I was going to do double-sided, but I'm looking at what papers I have available, so I'm just going to put a clip on these just so they stay in place. Put that to one side. What I'm thinking, so I've got these bits kind of left over. I might have the fingerprint as the base underneath the notepad, and then this, which is the same map that I've used on the front, I could have this sort of folded, so long as obviously this part is upright, it doesn't matter, and then the rest of it behind can get tucked behind this sheet so you won't see it. That should solve that problem. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to measure what size I need this piece. So let's do that in inches. I want it about just over 6.5. So just over 6.5. Just about 9.5. So 9.5, just over 6.5. Right, okay, so that's the base page cut, and I have left a bit of more of a gap at the top because obviously I've got to allow for this to wrap around the top as well. Now the width of this needs to be about the width of this. So let's see how wide we are. Once it's all folded in, roughly, we're about 6.25. Okay, so this needs to be 6.25. Where we're at. Oh, see, we're not too far off, are we? So 6.25. Just need a teeny tiny bit off. I'm going to bring it just inside as well. Okay, let's trim that piece, and then I think I might bring it down 2 inches. So I'm going to cut it at 4 inches, so I've got 2 inches on the other side as well. Okay, so this is a spare that I could use for something else, same as that. Okay, so this is going to go on here. This I'm going to fold in half. You can of course use a scoreboard. Half. The only thing I think I will use my scoreboard for is just to give it a little bit of a gusset. So obviously my original fold is here, so I'm just going to go down 2 more of the sort of mini score lines. I don't know what they are. It just gives it a bit more give should the notepad expand. Okay, so you can see those lines there hopefully on the camera. Where are they? Okay, so you can see there are 3 lines there. And I'm just going to round the corners at the front. Do some inking. Okay, so these 2 pieces are inked. The first thing I'm going to do is sew around the edge of this, and I'm also going to sew around the edge of this. Again, sewing is optional, I just like the look of it, so I'm going to quickly go off and do that now. Okay, so these are my 2 bits that I have then sewn. So all I've done is done a zigzag stitch around this one and a straight stitch on the inside panels. I've done a straight stitch on the other, so that's what I've done that. This is going to get stuck onto the back of here, so I'm going to do that first. I'm not going to butt right the way up against the fold because obviously I want to give it time to be able to fold, and obviously if the pad gets bigger then that way we've created that spine. Okay, so before I glue this down, I need to pierce holes in the back piece and the front piece, because what will happen is the string will go around the back, so it's hidden still under here, then it will come through those holes. I'll put holes in my pad as well, so it'll come through the pad, then through the top and tie up the top here. And that way, if I ever want to remove my pages, I just untie it, pull out my pages, and then hook the next one on, again, holes in the top. So let's pop that now. The best way to do this is using a crocodile or some kind of punch. So I'm just going to fold. Obviously we've got 3 fold lines. So I'm going to go for the middle one, and then I am going to punch in. Now this crocodile can punch in up to an inch, so that's, I think, might be enough. Yeah, I think that comes in far enough, so that's what I'm going to do. Now I'm just going to eyeball whether it's in the middle of the top bit and the bottom bit. I'm just going to put these clips on just to hold it still and in place. Eyeball roughly where the middle is. Punch. Actually, be doing that, I want the wider hole, so I need to change it to the wider side. Okay, so there's one lot of holes, and then I'll do exactly the same on the other side. In and eyeball it. Punch your hole. And then I am going to set eyelets in these just to obviously reinforce them. I've got these silver eyelets, so I'll do the back ones first. Try that again. Probably my favourite eyelet setting tool. I've tried a few. I have different ones that I still have and keep, you know, in case of an emergency. But I definitely think this is probably one of the better purchases that I have made. For a long, long time, I put off buying this because it's very expensive here in the UK to buy the We Are Memory Keepers. Not all of the We Are Memory Keeper stuff is readily available here. So I did put off buying it for a long, long time, and I must say it's one of my favourite things. I also have the Big Bite, which is the longer one, because that's also have eyelets to set that are in an awkward place. So say I needed to come in any further, obviously this, we know, punches up to an inch, and obviously you can only set an eyelet up to roughly an inch as well, because that's how deep this goes. But the Big Bite goes back a lot further. So this is the Big Bite, and as you see, you've got all of this space. So if I needed to set an eyelet, say in the middle of this project, I could quite easily slot this in and get into the middle of this project if I needed to. And this is obviously a big A4 size. So this one's really handy as well for those type of situations. Okay, so now that we've got that sorted, the next part is to then punch our holes in these. So the main thing you want to do is just make sure that all your papers are where you want them to be. Use a clip at the top to hold them together in the middle. and then I'm going to hold them up on here. Now I can't fold that down because I'm not of my clip, so I'm going to use a paper clip, I think. All the things on my desk, what have I not got? A paper clip, right, and one. So paper clip might be easier. That's obviously going to fold down on here. So that's roughly the middle, so that's where the pages are going to go. So the next thing I want to do is mark my circles, and then this is where I'm going to punch the holes. So again, using my crocodile, I'm going to come in, see where I've marked, and punch my holes. Now, depending on some of your papers, obviously I've got some that are different widths, so this one. So I know that this one hasn't been punched over this side, and I've possibly got some over this side that haven't been punched here. So because you're not really going to see the top, I am going to add a staple up here just to keep everything equal. Little staple at the top. There we go. So that will hold everything in place. Okay, originally I was thinking of having these flaps come over, but I think it's going to work because of my hole, so I'm actually just going to have to tear them, or tear them below. Do that. Okay. So we've still got that extra writing space. This one. Okay, now for some more string. So I need it to loop through and come back on itself and tie it up. So give myself a bit extra just so I've got all that to play with. Right, let's get this put together. So it's going to come in through the back on both sides. Like that. Make it roughly even. About there. Okay, then the notepad. Then the notepad, and then up through this bit here. Oops. Tie it at the front, and then obviously you can have your strings as long or as short as you like them. I am going to trim them slightly. Okay, so now that's that. The only thing I am going to do a little bit of tape across here so this doesn't move, and we can stick this down. So I'm going to use masking tape for this, just to hold that little bit in place. Okay, and then we can add glue to stick this whole section down. Okay, awesome. So we now have our notepad on the side. As I said, the idea that I had in my head is that the detective would be writing their notes in the notepad as they are looking over all the evidence and things. On the inside then, we have gone through with our little case notes of each of our victims. They've got a card with their fingerprints on each, a location card of where it was that they died. And then all of these flip out, and then we've got pockets here which I will fill with ephemera, I think towards the end. Still having a think what I want to put here, I'm not entirely sure yet. This obviously is now a long tuck, so I can have something tucked under there. And then finally on this side we have a pocket here to the side. We've got this which is magnetized closed. It's just a paper envelope, so I can put stuff in there, or I can leave it for journaling. I haven't decided yet. So that's that one. We've got a pocket here with this top secret file. We've got a pocket here and a pocket to the side. So that is this side of the lap book done. So we've just got one more panel to do. As I say, that will be my suspects and the different clues and things that they've left. So that will be in our next video. Well, I think I'm going to leave it there for today because otherwise this is going to be an extraordinarily long video. I hope you are enjoying this process and watching what I am up to, and hopefully you might give this a go as well. As always, thank you so much for watching and joining me on my channel. It's really appreciated. I love reading all your comments. I love the support that I get from everybody, so thank you very much. As always, I hope you have a wonderful crafty day, and I will see you in the next video. I'll see you later now. Bye bye.